Hi, my name is Dr. Hey guys, I'm John... Bugger.
What on earth are you doing?
Shut up, just let me focus, yeah?
Yes, focus, of course. Quite the Herculean task, isn't it, saying one's name?
Shh. Hi, my name is Dr. John Watson, and I'm here with my flatmate Sherlock Holmes, who is the subject matter for my podcast... What are you doing? Can you put the violin down, please? Just for a minute.
Watson, I really must be getting back to my work.
Just, please.
Your microphone is in the wrong mode.
Right. Do you know what? This is stupid. Yeah? I'll do the pre-titles myself. Okay? Get out. 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 Hi, I'm Dr. John Watson. This podcast contains strong language, depictions of violence, and some graphic content. Listener discretion is advised. Drug references. Forgot drug references. Balls. My name is Dr. John Watson, once of the British Army Northumberland Fusilier Regiment, now a true crime podcaster based in central London. I don't have much experience in criminology, so this is mostly a record of how I met possibly the most brilliant and bizarre person I have ever and will ever know. Join me as I document the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
The gods are real, like the Greek gods,
like the ones you learned about but weren't paying attention to. Well, they don't pay attention to you either, especially if you're their kid.
The gods have godly things to do, godly places they need to see,
Godly plans they need to make that don't include me. Yeah, the gods are real, and they have kids, and those kids have issues.
Daddy doesn't love me and Mommy is a god.
Mommy can pretend me, and Daddy is a god.
Mommy is too busy and Daddy is too busy. Busy, 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 busy being a god. Yeah.
You never listen to me, you never listen. You never listen to me, you never listen, no. You never listen, but now you're gonna listen, 'cause it's time you heard our side of the story. It's time you heard our story.
Look! I didn't want to be a half-blood. I didn't ask to be a hero seeking praise. Being a half-blood, it's scary. It mostly gets you killed in very nasty ways. I didn't want to cause trouble. I'm less a player and more the played. And honestly, I'd totally be fine if I could make it to the next grade. It wasn't dirty socks or my stepdad. It was danger that I smelled. The day it all went down, the day I got expelled. Maybe you don't know what a half-blood is because your life is normal and happy and not constantly in danger. But my life? Let me set the scene. We were on this freaky field trip. That's when the story should probably start. We were geeking out on ancient Greek at the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art. Stopped by all the statues and learned about the gods. The runner and my substitute, Mrs. Dodds, hadn't done nothing wrong, wasn't rude, hadn't rebelled. On the day it all went down, the day I got expelled.
The Greek gods, almighty titans of earth, sea, and sky. But even they were children once, and they didn't have it easy. Their father, Kronos, feared the day his children would inherit the earth. So what did he do? Anyone? Anyone?
He ate them.
Thank you, Mrs. Darts. But one child, Zeus, escaped and devised a plan to rescue his brothers and sisters. He tricked Kronos into eating a rock. And what did Kronos do? Anyone? Any student?
He vomited them up.
I didn't really get the story. At least it wasn't boring as I'd feared. But is it me, or is Greek mythology not deeply weird? I didn't want to pay attention. Now I wish I had taken notes. But my focus is in question, and God's an indigestion cause it grown from our throats. Bah. Dude, what was that?
Nothing.
My best friend was acting strange, at which he so excelled. The day it all went down, the day I got expelled. Why do you have peanut butter in your hair?
Ask Nancy Boba Fett. She's a monster. Well, not literally. I don't think.
She threw a peanut butter sandwich at you?
She threw a peanut butter sandwich at you. I stopped it with my head.
Grover, you are a good friend.
Aw. Dude, I'm your only friend.
Percy Jackson.
I knew something was up when I heard my name get yelled.
The day it all went down,
I saw something not in Mrs. Dodds' frown.
the day it all got weird.
The day I got expelled.
Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson. Please see me by the Sphinx.
Look, if this is about Nancy Bobovich, she only hates me because I tried to get her to stop wedging the first graders.
I have heard much about you, Percy Jackson.
Really? That's very dedicated for a substitute.
Kicked out of 5 schools in 6 years. One might question your parentage.
Hey, don't talk about my mom.
And your father. That's right. You don't know who he is.
What is this about anyway? Mrs. Dodds? You have something going on here!
What ho, Percy?
Mr. Brunner, what am I supposed to do with the pen? Sword! Whoa! Mr. Brunner? Mrs. Dodds? I didn't know it just had happened. Was that all a creepy, crazy dream? My teacher was a creature, then she vanished in the ether with a demon scream. The next thing that I knew, I was where detention was held. The day it all got real, the day I got expelled.
I tried, Percy, but the headmaster stands firm in his decision. You were supposed to stay with the group, and this was your final warning.
But it wasn't my fault, it was Mrs. Dodds. She lured me away, she attacked me, and you saw it.
Did I?
And you gave me that pen, only it wasn't a pen, it was a sword, and... What?
Percy, we've never had a teacher named Mrs. Dodds.
Perhaps it's for the best. This wasn't the place for you. It was only a matter of time before...
I got kicked out?
That's not what I was going to say.
You think I'm trouble just like everyone else?
No, but... That is to say, I can only accept the best from you, Percy. Someday you'll understand why. I'm truly sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I let you down.
Maybe he's right. You never fit in at this school anyway. You're not exactly...
Normal?
Exactly! I mean, I'll see you on the bus.
So if you think you are a half-blood, better get headed to the exits now. Cause folks will think you're lying, better run and don't start crying cause you're monster chow. Stick around and maybe you'll learn from me. This ain't Odysseus, it's Odyssey. So hear me out if you're so compelled. But nobody listens to me, they never listen. Nobody listens to me, they never listen. Oh.
You gotta say,
I didn't wanna be a half-blood. I didn't ask to be a half-blood. Expect
You're an elf. Excuse me? You're an elf. Run. Hi, we're mentally unstable and have shunned ourselves from society. They're perfect! Oh, why do you have to kidnap them? They're so heavy. Dang it!
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Gravity Falls is about Marbles and her twin brother Dipstick. They go up to Gravity Falls, Oregon for a fun summer of chicanery with their uncle, Martin Mystery. Dipstick is convinced they're monsters, but Uncle Mystery's like, nah. Then he finds a Spooker Wooker walkthrough that tells him all about the monsters. Meanwhile, Marbles falls in love with every boy she meets. Unfortunately, one of them is an evil McWinster named Gilderoy Lockhart, a magical liar with a ridiculous haircut and Stan's greatest rival. He wants the Mystery Shack for himself because he thinks another journal's on the property. There are 3 journals, and whoever has them all has them all. Ooh, the race is on. Dipper wants to figure out who wrote the journals. Maybe it was Dr. Seuss. Along the way, they fight monsters such as evil gnomes, evil golf balls, parental abandonment, strong bad. Meanwhile, Grunkle Mystery teaches us lessons about fraud and tax evasion. After the 20th Marbles Crush of the Week episode, they thought, man, let's not leave Dipstick out of this hot action. So they made Wendy. I guess they call them the Pines Twins because they're always pining after someone. The writers actually start to use her for a bit in season 2 before realizing, oh no, she's too competent, better put her back in her box. That's all well and good until Razzle Dazzle Dorito comes to town. He's got crazy powers, but also doesn't, and needs to take over bodies to do anything. That's why he has to make deals with humans, but why would you make a deal with him? He has terrible reviews on Yelp. So many mysteries, the fan base is obsessed with them. Did you know that every color scheme is secretly a hexadecimal code that leads to Bill Cipher's cookie jar? Did you know that half the cast is voiced by Seuss? Oops, the biggest twist is that it's a children's show, and you're all crazy. Marvel, as the writers, take the best character and gradually make her the worst character by having her learn no lessons for 40 episodes. Then watch as Marbles makes Dipstick give up everything so she can have summer free time and boys over and over again. And she's just totally selfish all the time. And they bring it up in universe, and it just never gets resolved. Like, literally the devil calls her out on it, and Gravity Falls is the best Western cartoon to come out this decade, featuring wonderful writing, morals, visuals, and a story and cast that touched our hearts. Seriously though, is Mabel just gonna get away with all that shit, or...
So here's the story. Thomas wakes up with his memory wiped to find himself inside of a black elevator-like box. He can only remember his name and other very basic things. The box takes him to a place called the Glade. The Glade is a very small village surrounded by a giant maze that goes on for miles. The Glade is full of adolescent boys between the ages of about 12 and 18 named Gladers who also don't have any past memories. The Glade is ran by 2 leaders, Newt and Albie. Another Glader named Chuck is assigned to help get Thomas familiarized with the Glade. Gladers work different jobs to make sure that everything stays in order. Thomas doesn't know why, but he feels called to be a runner, or someone who explores the maze looking for a way out. This desire is unusual because the maze is extremely dangerous and runners risk getting stuck inside of the maze every night when the doors close. No one has ever survived staying in the maze after the doors close because the Grievers come out at night. Grievers are slug-like monsters that are part machine, part flesh. Shortly after Thomas arrives in the glade, a girl shows up. This scares the Gladers for multiple reasons. A girl has never came to the glade before. She's also in a coma, and she's holding a note that says she's the last person coming to the glade. A few days later, Albie and a runner named Minho get stuck in the maze, and Thomas rushes in to save them, even though it's against the rules. Thomas rescues them, becoming the first person to survive a night in the maze. While in the maze, Albie gets stung by one of the grievers, and Thomas and Minho also find something that is later revealed to be the griever hole. Through saving Albie and Minho, Thomas proves to the Gladers that he can handle being a runner, but he still has to spend a night in the slammer for breaking the rules of the glade. Chuck visits Thomas in jail, and Thomas promises that he will reunite Chuck with his mom someday. The next thing you know, the power is out in the glade because the girl has triggered the ending. The sun is out and the Gladers won't be getting any more food or supplies. The doors also won't be closing at night anymore, so now the grievers can come into the glade whenever they want. After the power goes out, Teresa wakes up and tells Thomas that the maze is a code. Thomas uses maps of the maze to reveal hidden words, but he doesn't know what the words mean. Time is running out for the Gladers, and Thomas decides to intentionally get stung by a griever in order to use the extra information to find out how to leave the maze. The sting reveals to Thomas that the way out is through the griever hole, where he will be able to use the code words to get out of the maze. The Gladers decide to gather all the weapons that they can and go out into the maze and fight the grievers in an attempt to escape. Albie tries to sacrifice himself because the grievers have only been killing one Glader a night. But this time it's different, and his sacrifice fails. A battle ensues, and after it is over, only 21 Gladers are still alive. The Gladers leave the maze and find the creators who have been watching them all along. A Glader named Gally, who everyone thought was dead, is with the creators. Gally throws a knife at Thomas, but Chuck gets in the way. Chuck dies in Thomas's arms. Before Thomas can hardly even begin to grieve, a group of people rush in and save the Gladers from the creators. The Gladers are safer now, but it won't be long before they have to face more danger.
When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only two things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home. I've never been out of Tulsa before. I wonder what it would be like. I've never known anybody to leave. Most people get stuck here for life. My brother could have been a football star. People say he had a ticket out. My other brother suffers from a broken heart, from a girl he loved to up and moved away. We got no parents, we fend for ourselves. There's no one to show us the way. My brothers are trying, but they're always out, just working their poor lives away. My name is Pony Boy, the youngest of the three. I know there's so much more to life than what's in front of me, so I sneak into the movies just to glimpse the other side. Rather take a risk and see it than to never even try. When I am looking up and Newman's on the screen, the entire world just melts away. And for a moment I'm not worried about a thing. I just sit back and let the movie start to play. But unlike in the movies and the books I like to read, nothing in this town plays out the same. Tell me it was different back when we could all agree. Somewhere down the line we lost our way. We had places to go, we had things to do, so they took one town and they split it in two. The money went west, kicked the grease to the east. The train went down the belly of the beast. Here we are now from talking to you. When I get to the end, tell me what you would do in the town that's torn into. What's a greaser from these side supposed to do? This is Tulsa 1967. And there's just one thing you need to know. You got greasers and associates, that's how it's always been. And that's probably how it's always gonna go. There's another side of Tulsa that I hardly ever see. It's like some kind of fairy tale land. The grass is always greener and the streets are always clean. All the girls are pretty there and all the guys are mean. We call them socials cause they live like socialites. Barbecues and graduation days, with better clothes and better cars and better lives. Just one town, two very different ways. And over on the east side, the story's not the same. Another rundown building, another broken window pane. The car's no longer running, sitting idle in the yard. They're building up the west side while the east side falls apart. That right there is my best friend in the whole world, Johnny Cade. Just last week some socials beat the living hell out of him. He hasn't been the same since. This town, it only holds you down. There's judgment everywhere, and people think they know you by the way you wear your hair. If you're not born into money, then you're born into despair, and they'll do all that they can to keep your poor ass there. We gave ourselves a name cause we don't have a life. We stick together cause each other's all we got. We take a lot of pride in how we grease our hair. People look us up and down, and we don't even care cause we're greasers, making something out of nothing, putting something that is so shaky. We are greasers. They ain't never gonna change, and it really don't matter if you like it or not. This is Tulsa 1967, and there's just one thing you need to know. Just one thing. You got greasers and socials. That's how it's always been, and that's probably how it's always gonna go. In a town that's torn in two, and that's probably how it's always gonna go. What's a greaser from the east side? And that's probably how it's always gonna go. Hey, that's probably how it's always gonna go.
And then I said,
Next to my wife.
get it? I responded to a rhetorical question with a literal answer.